Hey everyone, hope everyone's doing well. Welcome to a commentary video, which I have not done in a while. Don't know how long this will be, but I'll just talk for a little bit and go from there. I do want to do one of these once a week to kind of talk about training and how things are going and some things that are just on my mind in general, because I think they have been productive, at least for me personally in the past, and hopefully someone that's listening to this can enjoy the commentary over my lifting stuff. But today was just a kind of strength and speed power focused day, I suppose, as every day of weightlifting, but more so on the strength part, because I just had back squats, snatch behind the neck press, snatch grip behind the neck press, very long name for a very simple exercise once you see it, an overhead squat, and then some snatch pull plus hang pulls. So a pretty generic workout, but the pause squat that I hit at 455 I believe was a PR, so very productive day of squats. And mentally been kind of down and out as of late, so I haven't really felt physically super excited about training, which has been very odd, especially because training has still gone really well, like I mentioned today with the pause squat, earlier this week, lifetime PR on the snatch. So it's very odd to be able to physically perform very well and just kind of mentally be checked out in a lot of ways. And I think a lot of that mental checkout is just stress from work and just kind of being into a normal school year and kind of still feeling like a first year teacher, since last year wasn't really a real school year because of all the COVID stuff. And this year kind of being the first full year of being an in-person phys ed teacher, which is what it is, but it's just different than what I had done for my first 4 years of teaching. And because last year we were out for so many days in a remote setting, it certainly did not feel like a regular school year. And I don't know, it's stressful, but that's kind of what work is always like. And I always kind of get more annoyed about not the stress itself necessarily, but kind of the impact that it has on my training. As narcissistic as that probably sounds, like I really don't like being stressed, because I know I won't train as well and being able to push myself as hard, and that's not always true, but that's just kind of the perception that I have, and usually it's true. And sort of like, if I compare my training during breaks and then summer and stuff and during the school year, there definitely is a dip as far as the consistency of what I'm able to do, but I still progress when I'm during the school year. So I mean, it's not as if you can't work and progress in the gym. So it's mostly annoyance on my part that I can't push as hard as I can and I can't feel as perfect as I want when I'm going to the gym. Obviously I'm up walking around all day as a PE teacher, and so I'm just tired in general, physically and mentally stressed from the day and all that stuff. So it's just stuff you got to get through, and hopefully I'll keep getting through for at least the school year, and then kind of reassess where I want to move, what I want to do with next year, if I want to keep teaching or potentially move on to something else. And it's all kind of tentative thoughts that you have at all times, and I think it's not a very uncommon thing to have thoughts like that about what you want to do in the future and what you want to do here and now and then and there, and kind of thinking about the what ifs of different potential choices that you have. And I think, at least for me, I think the important thing is not to overreact in any particular direction, but to be open-minded to having those thoughts and to seeing where they take me, and just kind of thinking about what different directions are there, because I think that's important, because you may realize that the current position that you're in is the most beneficial, or you may realize that if you did this or that, then you would be in a better position. And just being able to be thoughtful about it, because when you're in a very high stress situation, and I say that high stress in the sense that compared to summer break to the school year, I'm in much higher levels of stress just because I'm working versus not working, but just trying to not overreact to that stress, because it is a natural response to the body to want to avoid feeling stress, just like it is, it's very similar with mental and physical stress. If you have some sort of ache, that's why people limp. Your body's trying to avoid stressing a joint that's already in pain or under stress. And your brain does kind of the same thing, where it just wants to not do anything for a little bit, just to kind of catch back up to where it was to be in homeostasis. And I think it's important to recognize that and to understand that, and to try to do things to help mitigate that, but know that it's not going to be perfect, everything that you do. And no matter what choices that you make, things are going to be stressful and difficult in different times, and just kind of understanding of that. And I think that's something that is kind of difficult when you're in the moment and you think about, well, if I just do this or if I just do that, then everything will be good. And I have those same thoughts, whether it's with work life or training, or if I was like, you know what, I'm just going to always do this or always do that or blah blah blah. You just kind of have these global, direct, global extreme thoughts, and not saying that in like any sort of like negative way, but it could be like a different training style, or wanting to do a different job or something like that. And I don't think that's a unique thing to myself, but it's important to recognize and to not overreact in any particular direction, because I think that, at least for me, most things that I do are pretty close to what I should be doing in life in general. And if you push yourself in different random directions, you often see it with people with training. They'll change to different styles and different weights and different exercises, and they'll just make all these extreme decisions with their training and not really progress in any particular direction, and just kind of spin their wheels going nowhere. I think it's important in life to understand that there's going to be times that are rough, and that you kind of have to get through them in order to get to times that are a little bit easier. And part of being just a younger person, relatively, I guess I am getting closer to 30, but just being a real, working person, that you're just going to be stressed until you have things set up in a way to where you can, be more, I don't want to say comfortable, but just be less stressed in what you do during the day. And I think to have that focus, that long-term focus, is a way to get through the negativity in the short term, and to kind of push towards the long-term goals, and to realize that radical decisions in the short term can be a nice solution for the short term, but it can make the long term more difficult. And if you suffer in the long term or in the short term, it can make getting to the long term goals a little bit more easier and attainable. In a way to think about this is, with squatting volume, a very simple solution. It's like you're doing a lot of repetitions. It's very miserable in the short term, but long term, building the muscle and the training, or the practice of the movements and the motor patterns and all that, will benefit you in the long term. And it's kind of like that with most aspects of life, is you suffer in the short term in order to get to long-term goals and long-term benefits, and there's not really anything that you can do in the short term to get to a long-term benefit, unless there's extreme luck, like if I won the lottery or something like that, and stuff like that just doesn't happen. But it's kind of the stuff that has been on my mind and stuff that I'm going through, and hopefully I can pop out one of these commentaries once a week and kind of explore my thoughts a little bit and talk about things. But if you guys made it this far, I do appreciate it, and hopefully anyone that's listening got a little bit out of this, and hopefully each time I do them, they'll get a little bit better and better. I get a little bit more concise and clear clear thought when I'm giving these little talks, and hopefully enjoy the little training with the video. I'll still throw little highlights separate if I do hit like a training PR, a really good lift like the pause squat. I'll throw that up separate. But these will, if you see a longer video, I'll try to mark it as commentary so you can see if you want to listen to me ramble, or if you want to go ahead and skip it. But like I said, I do appreciate if you made it this far. If you have any thoughts or feedback, throw them down below, and hopefully, like I said, I can throw out one of these maybe once a week, maybe more than once a week. I guess it depends how motivated I am. But with that being said, I've rambled on long enough. I'll talk to you on the next one. Take care, everyone. Peace.